Artists, today we are going to be adding the frosting or decorations for our donut. The hardest part about this step is that you need to wait for each layer to dry before you add a new color, just because if you don't, the colors start blending together. So right now I just have a regular donut color. This is dry. You can kind of see that I've got some spots that the color didn't quite touch, so that's going to help me decide which is going to be the bottom and which is going to be the top of my project. I think I can easily cover up these areas with my chocolate frosting, so the bottom isn't really going to get seen much, so I think that's going to help me decide. When you paint, it's very similar to any other time that we paint. You just add your paint to your brush, and if it helps to get your paints in the cracks and crevices a little bit, you can add a tiny little bit of water. Excuse me. When you are switching colors, remember that you use your messy mat and your sponge before you switch colors. So like I said, the toughest part is waiting for this to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the chocolate icing, and then once it's dry, I can add some sprinkles. What you'll notice sometimes is instead of brushing your paint on like we might do with a piece of paper, it's actually sometimes a little bit easier to just push your brush into these sculptures. It helps get all of those paints into those little cracks and crevices. And if you think about a frosted donut, the frosting is never really perfect, so it's okay if your paint isn't perfect either. But sometimes pushing that brush instead of, moving in the back and forth brush strokes is a little bit easier for this project. You can kind of see where my brown paint is dry and where it is wet. And because I'm making this video for you for a demonstration, I'm going to try to add my sprinkles in the dry areas. And when you are doing your decorations, like I said, it's really best if you wait for your first color to dry. Because if you don't, sometimes what happens is the brown paint or whatever base color paint that you have will end up mixing with the bright color that you intended to put on top. So I just wanted my chocolate donut to have some pink sprinkles, and it looks like it's working out okay. You'll notice that I'm kind of loading up the paint on the brush so that the sprinkles are pretty thick, and it's gonna help just keep them from mixing with the paint too much. And you'll know if you should have waited for it to dry. You'll start seeing those colors blend and mix together. When you are done, these just need to dry, and you will have created a sculpture using a foil armature.